Moneypenny, where's 007?
He's on a mission, sir, in Austria.
Well, tell him to pull out.
Some of the most jaw-dropping, heart-topping, and even intimate moments on screen weren't acting at all. From life-threatening stunts gone wrong to Love making scenes that blurred the line between acting and reality, these scenes were as real as it gets. And once you know the truth, you'll never watch them the same way again. Today, we're diving into 15 movie scenes that were completely real. And trust me, number 1 will leave you speechless. Number 15, Michael J. Fox's Brush with Danger. Back to the Future, Part 3. Some movie moments blur the line between performance and peril. In Back to the Future Part 3, shot in 1990, Michael J. Fox faced a terrifying real-life scare while filming a hanging scene. Playing Marty McFly, Fox was supposed to appear as if struggling for breath. But things went wrong. The noose unexpectedly tightened, cutting off his air for real. For nearly 30 seconds, Fox genuinely gasped for life before the crew realized he wasn't acting. The authenticity of his struggle shocked audiences, many of whom praised his performance, unaware it was a near disaster. The incident forced the filmmakers to reevaluate stunt safety, ensuring stricter precautions for risk scenes moving forward. Despite the danger, the footage made the final cut, amplifying the movie's raw intensity. Fox later admitted it was one of the scariest experiences of his career. Ironically, this accident added an unforgettable edge to Marty's journey, proving sometimes truth is stranger and scarier than fiction. Number 14, Terror Made Real. Jaws and Susan Backlund's unscripted fear. Steven Spielberg's Jaws 1975 redefined horror and summer blockbusters, but one of its most chilling sequences wasn't fully scripted. Actress Susan Benny, playing Chrissy Watkins, endured genuine fear during the film's iconic opening attack. She was strapped into a harness rigged to yank her violently across the water, simulating a shark attack. What she didn't know was when the pull would happen. Spielberg deliberately kept her in the dark, ensuring her terror would be authentic. Each unpredictable jolt pulled her underwater, triggering frantic screams and panicked thrashing that were chillingly real. The result, audiences saw not just a character being attacked, but a human being genuinely shocked by raw fear. This realism transformed a mechanical shark into something far more terrifying. The scene cemented Jaws as a cinematic milestone, altering pop culture forever. Swimming in the ocean would never feel the same again. Number 13, A Cat's Cameo, The Godfather's unscripted masterstroke. Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather, 1972, is a masterclass in filmmaking, but one of its most iconic touches wasn't planned. In the legendary opening scene, Marlon Brando as Vito Corleone strokes a stray cat that had wandered onto the set at Paramount Studios. The cat wasn't in the script. Brando simply picked it up, cradling it as if it belonged in the family office. The result was cinematic genius. As Corleone discussed matters of crime and vengeance, the contented purring contrasted sharply with his cold, calculated words. That single choice deepened his character, showing both warmth and menace in one frame. The irony, the cat purred so loudly that Brando's lines nearly had to be recorded. Still, the scene endured as one of cinema's greatest openings. That nameless feline not only enriched The Godfather, but also became an accidental legend in film history. Number 12, Strangled for Real. Inglourious Basterds and Diane Kruger's intensity. Quentin Tarantino has always pushed boundaries, but one of his boldest decisions came in Inglourious Basterds 2009, in the infamous scene where Christoph Waltz's villain, Hans Landa, strangles Bridget von Hammer's Mark. The realism was no accident. Tarantino himself took Kruger's scarf and briefly strangled her, capturing the moment on camera. Though safety protocols were in place, Kruger truly struggled for breath. She later confirmed she agreed to the method, trusting Tarantino's direction. The panic in her eyes, the gasping, the raw desperation. It was all real. The decision sparked debate. How far should directors go for authenticity? Still, the result was undeniable. The scene became one of the film's most unforgettable moments, heightening the brutality of Waltz's character and cementing Kruger's performance astonishingly authentic. In the end, it was a gamble that paid off. Proof that sometimes the greatest risks create the most enduring cinematic moments. Number 11. A Spark of Spontaneity, Pretty Woman's Jewelry Box. Surprise, some of cinema's most unforgettable moments aren't written on the page, they're born in the heat of the moment. Take the jewelry box scene in Pretty Woman, 1990. A film that helped cement Julia Roberts as America's sweetheart, directed by Gary Marshall and co-starring Richard Gere, the film radiates charm. But this particular scene shines with an extra layer of magic. In it, Gere's Edward Lewis presents Roberts' Vivian Ward with Anaclace. What wasn't planned was Gere's playful decision to snap the box shut on Roberts' fingers. The sudden move caught her completely off guard, sending Roberts into a fit of genuine laughter. Marshall, with his instinct for capturing truth on film, immediately knew it had to stay in the final cut. Roberts, just 23 at the time, brought a natural exuberance to the role, and that spontaneous giggle perfectly encapsulated Vivian's wide-eyed innocence and delight. Marshall even reassured Roberts beforehand that the box's clasp would be soft enough not to hurt her. The result was a moment so authentic that it became one of the most replayed clips in romantic comedy history. This wasn't just a happy accident. It was proof that when actors trust their instincts and directors embrace imperfection, audiences are rewarded with cinematic gold. That fleeting moment turned a scripted gift exchange into an enduring piece of Hollywood magic. Number 10, the shot heard around Hollywood. Sigourney Weaver's basketball triumph. Not all movie magic comes from editing tricks or special effects, sometimes it's pure human skill. In Alien Resurrection 1997, Sigourney Weaver didn't just play the role of Ellen Ripley with grit and authority. She delivered one of the most jaw-dropping feats in sci-fi history. Abby Hinthey-back basketball shot that was 100% real. Weaver, known for her commitment to every role, trained extensively to land the move. Positioned about 6 feet beyond the regulation three-point line, she stood with cameras rolling and the cast watching skeptically. Everyone assumed the ball would miss and be fixed in post-production, but Weaver stunned the entire set when she nailed the shot in one take. The reaction you see on screen, Ron Perlman breaking character to stare in disbelief, the cast erupting in cheers, is completely authentic. It was such a perfect unrepeatable moment that director Jean-Pierre Jeunet insisted it stay in the film. The shot symbolized Ripley's evolution as a hybrid human clone, effortlessly powerful, almost otherworldly. For Weaver, it was a personal victory that blended athleticism with acting skill. For audiences, it became an iconic example of authenticity breaking through fiction, reminding us that sometimes reality is even cooler than special effects. Number 9, when Ross brought the bagpipes to Friends. In the world of Friends, fans were treated to countless iconic moments. But few scenes captured the show's mix of absurdity and charm, quite like Ross Geller's bagpipe performance in Season 7's, the one with Joey's new brain. David Schwimmer, ever the dedicated performer, didn't settle for pantomime. He actually learned to play the bagpipes to bring authenticity to Ross' unusual talent. Schwimmer's willingness to commit to the bit, coupled with his co-star's natural reactions, transformed what could have been a throwaway gag into one of the show's standout comedic highlights. Even years later, this episode is celebrated proof that Friends thrive not only on sharp writing, but also on the cast's ability to embrace real-life surprises. The bagpipes weren't just a prop. They were the perfect instrument to showcase Ross' awkward charm and the cast's infectious camaraderie. Number 8, the blood that wasn't in the script. Django Unchained. Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained 2012 is packed with tension and violence, but one of its most unforgettable moments came not from the script, but from reality bleeding, literally into the history. Leonardo DiCaprio's Calvin Candy is one of his most menacing characters. And in the famous dinner scene, the intensity reached new heights thanks to an unscripted accident. Midway through the confrontation, DiCaprio slammed his hand onto the table in character. The force shattered a glass and shards sliced into his palm. Blood immediately flowed, but instead of breaking character, DiCaprio pressed on. His real injury became part of the performance, and the camera captured his fury laced with genuine pain. What made this moment legendary was DiCaprio's instinct to use the accident to fuel the scene. At one point, he smeared the blood across Kerry Washington's face, a shocking decision that was not in the script, but added chilling realism to the actor's brutality. Washington later recalled being stunned, but the commitment from both actors turned the sequence into one of the film's most powerful and talked about moments. the crew rushed to tend to DiCaprio's hand after the take, and hair reportedly required stitches. Yet that single decision to keep acting through real pain showcased DiCaprio's relentless dedication to his craft. For audiences, the scene blurred the line between fiction and reality in a way that made it unforgettable. It also reinforced Tarantino's reputation for capturing raw, unfiltered intensity in film. DiCaprio's accident wasn't just a mishap. It became one of the defining moments of Django Unchained. A chilling reminder of how far actors will go for authenticity. Number 7, When Wall Street Went, the shocking head shave scene. Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street is notorious for its chaos, debauchery, and unfiltered portrayal of Jordan Belfort's excesses. Released in 2013, the film is filled with outrageous set pieces, but one scene still shocks audiences because of its sheer authenticity. The head shaving at the office party. This wasn't scripted. It wasn't planned. It was a real spontaneous act that happened in front of rolling cameras. The woman who agreed to shave her head wasn't an extra chosen at random, but Natasha Newman, a professional hairstylist and personal friend of Leonardo DiCaprio. Instead of staging a fake stunt, Newman volunteered to go through with the real thing. Her decision added a level of raw unpredictability that even seasoned cast and crew members didn't see coming. As clippers buzzed and locks of hair fell, the energy on set shifted, shock turned into exhilaration, and the crew captured an authentic moment of madness that perfectly fit the movie's tone. For Scorsese, who thrives on capturing unfiltered human behavior, the head's have was a gift. It symbolized the recklessness and abandon that defined Belfort's world. What makes this moment iconic isn't just the act itself, but the way it highlights Scorsese's directorial genius. He allowed real-life chaos to blend seamlessly into the history. Instead of cutting it or shooting, he leaned into the rawness, ensuring audiences experienced the same disbelief the cast felt in real time. The scene underscores the Wolf of Wall Street's larger theme, a culture so fueled by excess and shock value that nothing feels too outrageous. Newman's head shaving wasn't simply a spectacle. It was a real voluntary act that became a cinematic time capsule of spontaneity. It blurred the line between reality and fiction, embodying the film's chaotic, unrestrained spirit. For viewers, it wasn't just entertainment. It was witnessing the real world collide with the world of Belfort in one unforgettable, unrepeatable moment. Number 6, Glee's heartfelt goodbye, honoring Corey Monteith. Television rarely pauses for real-life tragedy, but Glee did when the cast and crew came together to honor Corey Monteith. Monteith, who played Finn Hudson, tragically passed away in July 2013 at just 31 years old. Only a few months later, the show aired The Quarterback, an episode unlike anything in its run. This wasn't just another storyline. It was a raw and emotional tribute that allowed actors, fans, and creators to grieve together. The tears on screen weren't scripted cues. They were real. Cast members like Lea Michele, who shared both a professional and personal bond with Monteith, poured their genuine sorrow into the episode. What unfolded was less a performance and more a collective act of remembrance. Instead of explaining Finn's death in detail, the episode left the cause unspoken, focusing instead on the impact of his absence. This decision reflected both sensitivity to Monteith's real-life passing and respect for the grieving process of the cast and audience. Songs like Seasons of Love and Make You Feel My Love carried weight beyond performance. They became cathartic expressions of mourning. Fans around the world felt the power of this authenticity. Social media lit up with tributes and the episode became one of the most watched in the series' history, drawing over 7 million viewers in the US alone. Critics and fans alike praised the honesty of the storytelling, recognizing as one of television's most moving farewells. By intertwining real grief with scripted narrative, Glee created a rare moment where fiction and reality merged seamlessly. The episode gave the cast space to say goodbye, and in turn, it gave fans permission to do the same. The Quarterback wasn't just an episode off television. It was a cultural moment, a reminder of how art can serve as both entertainment and healing. It remains one of the most poignant examples off television honoring a life lost too soon, ensuring Corey Monteith's legacy lived on in the hearts of his fans and colleagues. Number 5, Steve Carell's painful reality. The waxing scene that couldn't be faked. When it comes to comedy, few scenes are as unforgettable or as painfully real as the chest-waxing moment in The 40-Year-Old Virgin, released in 2005. The film made Steve Carell a household name, and this scene became one of its